everyone. This is Jeanette with Mountain Mix. It's on page 9 of the Occasions catalog, and it is the Carousel Birthday. And we're going to be using a lot of this suite. We're going to be using the cardstock, the embellishments, and the paper pack. And this is the card that I'm going to share with you today. It's just a quick, simple little card. So let's get started. The supplies we're going to need for today are the Carousel Birthday, and I am going to be using 2 stamps out of here. I'm going to be using the little carousel horse and the stamp, the sentiment that says I love when your birthday comes around. And I have that mounted on a block, and we're going to be using a stamp press today too. We're going to be using the stitched framelits for the medallion, and I just chose the framelit that fit the carousel horse, and then on the layering circles I chose the scallop that just that the circle fit into. We're going to use the carousel paper, cupcakes paper. This is really cute. There's a lot of cute papers in here, and they're double-sided, so you get a lot for a lot of different choices. You're going to be needing, of course, some snail adhesive, some liquid adhesive. For ink pads today, the colors we're going to use are Daffodil Delight, we're going to use Basic Black, and we're going to use Early Espresso. You're going to need some scissors, and I use my little tweezers. And we're going to use the Carousel and Cupcakes paper. And there's, in this pack is Calypso Coral, So Saffron, and Very Vanilla. And we're going to be using the Cupcakes and Carousels embellishment kit. And from that kit we are going to be using the ribbon, this little frame, and sequins. So let's get started. The first thing I think that we will do is we'll stamp our sentiment, and to do that I'm going to use the We Are Memory Keepers Precision Press. I like this press. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I do. I think it's great, especially for something like this, because it's hard to get. I don't want to make a mistake because you only get one shot at this. So we're going to stamp this in Early Espresso. And what I did was I just put the paper up there in the top corner, and then made sure that my sentiment would fit in there. And let's see, let me try turning it this way and see if that makes a difference. And I think that's okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Early Espresso, and I'm going to ink up the sentiment. And the nice thing about these presses, I have this one, and then I have the other stamp press by Hampton Art. And I like them. Makes things a lot easier. So we're just going to layer it down, and then we're going to press. And then if it's not as dark as you want, you can always redo it. And I'm happy with that, so we're going to leave that. We'll put it off to the side to dry. And we'll put that up here. The next thing we're going to do is we'll go ahead and we'll stamp on the carousel horse. And you can do that on here too, but I'm just going to use a regular block for this part because it is small. And to stamp that, I'm going to use So Saffron. Okay. And I already have my horse mounted on my stamp. So I'm going to go ahead and ink him up. And I'm just going to bring in a piece of scrap paper real quick and make sure that I've got him inked up pretty good. Okay. And Make sure he's straight. Okay, so here we go. I might have to get my head in the camera range here for this one, or I hope I don't bump the camera. We'll hopefully hope for the best. I'm going to put this here, and then I'm going to stamp. And I'll give it just a few seconds for that ink to transfer onto the paper. And then I'll bring it up. Perfect. Okay. So, our stamping is done. And while we've got this out here, I think we'll go ahead and we will mount the little horse onto the scallop circle. And to do that, I am going to use my liquid adhesive, and I'm just going to put this around here. Okay, and then I'm going to use my tweezers to grab it and turn it over. And then I'm just going to center it onto here. I want just a little bit of the edge showing, and I think that looks pretty good. And then of course to the back of this I'm going to go ahead and we'll add some dimensionals. If I can figure out where they went to. Here, right in front of me. Huh? Okay, so I'm going to put 4 for the simple reason I don't want the center to sag on me. So there's that. We'll set it aside. And then we will put these together like this. And then we're going to put our card together. And for the card base, I use Calypso Coral. It's cut at 8.5 by 5.5. And it's scored at 4 1/4. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take it and I'm going to score it in half, burnish it in half, and score it. It's scored at 4 1/4, sorry. And I'm going to go ahead and just bring it down. Make sure that we get a crisp edge on here. And I'm using my scalpel because I seem to have forgotten my bone folder. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a piece of the Very Vanilla, and this is cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And I'm going to put it here. And then this is 4 1/4 by 4 by 5 1/4, and it is the pattern paper. So we'll go ahead and we're going to add some liquid adhesive onto here too. That way if I don't get it set up right at the beginning, I can go ahead and have a little bit of wiggle room with it. Okay. And then we're going to just go ahead and we'll adhere it to the Very Vanilla sheet of paper. And we'll try and get our borders equal on here. There's not much of a... I'm going to have to turn it towards me a little bit more than what it is. So let me see if I can get this down here. And bring it down just a little bit more. And over. Okay. Done with that. And then I'm going to take the ribbon from that embellishment kit, and I'm going to cut a length of it to wrap around back here. Looks like that will be enough right there. And cut it. I still can't get that nail polish off of that thumb. I guess it's just going to have to wear off. No matter what I've tried, it won't scrape off. It won't come off with the nail polish remover, so at least it's getting less and less. So then what we're going to do is get 2 pieces of Scotch tape, because we're going to use the cheater method to put this on. I'm just going to line it up with my grid paper, and I'm going to decide where I want this. I think I want it right about there. So I will bring my ribbon maybe right here. And this ribbon it goes from a darker color to a lighter color. It's really, really pretty. And just going to line it up on my grid line. I am a person who cannot even, who can't even draw a stick figure with a ruler. I have no sense of what's straight and what's not straight. So I struggle with that. So I use my lined paper to go ahead and try and get things even, and sometimes I even struggle that way. But I know I have problems like that, and so I have no problems using a piece of paper to help get me straight. Okay, so then I'll bring it around, and I don't think it's straight again, struggling as usual. Okay, and then we'll tape it down, and then we'll just flip it back over and check it. Okay, that looks like it's okay. So then for this one, I'm going to use my snail adhesive, and we'll just put some around the edges of the card. I don't know if it's just me, but I seem to have trouble with this snail adhesive sometimes. I don't know if it gets gummy in there or what it does, but I struggle. Okay, so then we're going to bring this on here. Oops, maybe we should put it on the right spot first. And there's just a really, really fine, thin border around here. That looks okay. And then we're going to go ahead and we'll add our little horse. We'll take the backings off of the dimensionals. And we'll stick him right about there, I guess. Isn't that pretty? I like the colors on this. I think it's really pretty. And then we'll bring in our sentiment. And I'm going to use snail on this also. And then I'm just going to run a bead down the center. And then I'm just going to add it right about here. Straight, of course. Or I hope to what I think is straight. Okay. And then I'm going to take some sequins, and we're going to drop some sequins up by the little carousel horse. I'm going to add about 3 of them, so I'm going to get 3 out of the bag. Okay, and then I'm just going to add some little tiny bit of the liquid adhesive, not much. Actually, I think I'll add 4. And then we're going to go ahead and we'll add those on the drops of the adhesive. And just drop those on there. And there we go. That's our quick little card for today. Sorry about that. And here's the one we just did. Here's the original.